Welcome back to another episode of On the Bench with Beek. I am your humble host, Cody Beekman, and with me, as always, is Bryce McMillan,
How's it going, fella? Milan, thanks for your time, bud.
and we got Ross Mormeyer,
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Hope you're all
and,
doing well.
and we've got Daniel Beatty.
How's it going, everybody?
So today, I think I speak for all the boys. We are uber excited for this episode. We have an incredible guest. I can't even believe I'm saying this right now. Milan Hejduk. Milan, thank you so much for being with us. Can you say hi to all the fine folks out there?
Hi, everyone.
So Milan, thank you so much. Again for being on the show, man. So basically, what we like to do, we like to dig up different perspectives of hockey and share them for the entire world. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Can you kind of like just we're gonna take it all the way back to when you were a little kid back in the Czech Republic, man. Can you tell us like how you really caught the bug of hockey?
Right. I was, my family was kind of sports, very interested in sports. My dad was actually a hockey player, played in not nothing international level, but in the Czech league, and then he became a coach. My mom played tennis. Again, nothing big, not on an international level, but uh, you know, uh, she was fairly successful also. So we're in my hometown, which it's in Czech Republic, about uh, 60 miles north of Prague. It's about 100,000 people live there. So right there, there's a hockey stadium right next to our tennis courts where my mom played, and dad actually kind of worked that time when I was growing up. He was coaching. He was running the youth hockey program there. So for me, it was kind of easy to get in hockey and tennis. Basically, two sports I played growing up. So I spent a lot of time at the ice rink, locker rooms, you name it. I just know I knew every corner of the ice rink because I just spent lots of time. My dad basically worked there, so uh, any chance that I could go on the ice, I went, and so it was kind of cool childhood I had.
Did your mom and dad ever have like a tug of war of between tennis and hockey, which one you should play more? Like, no, he's gonna play more hockey, or no, he's gonna play more tennis.
Yeah. So my mom really never pushed me that much for tennis, but I love the game. I think tennis is a awesome sport, and I think probably helped me with hockey later on in my life. With the hand-eye coordination, stuff like that. You probably learn from tennis. But I played both sports till I was like about 13, and then decided to play with hockey. Hockey is a little bit more fun in the perspective of team sport. You're hanging out with the guys, the locker room stuff, instead of tennis. Yeah, you're just by yourself. If things are not going right and you're melting down, you're gonna lose the game. In hockey, even if you're, let's say, if you're not feeling it one night and you're not at your best, your teammates or line mates can pull you out of the trouble. And it's definitely a lot more fun, being in the locker room and the stuff after hockey games, hanging out with the guys is just definitely, uh, to me, it was a no-brainer what sport I should pick, really.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I totally get that too. Even like sports like baseball, that is really just focused on like the pitchers. So whenever whenever you're kind of melting down, it's all on you. But yeah, I totally see it, man. I think you used to just hang out in the locker rooms with all the guys on your dad's team, right?
Right. And so my dad coached, yeah, he coached 15, 16-year-olds uh, quite a bit. And yeah, they're doing crazy stuff. They're zipping me in the hockey bag, just lock me somewhere and stuff like that. So they had a little bit of fun with me. Uh, but like it was all good. I was just a little kid hanging out with older kids, older, teenagers basically, and so it was kind of fun for me. Even they abused me a little bit, but yeah, it was all good.
Oh man, I can
Also,
just see.
yeah.
Go for it, Bryce.
Yeah, so this is Bryce speaking, Milan. I was just curious about, you've been in the locker rooms with your dad in the Czech Republic learning hockey. Was it the first time you ever set skates on ice, and what was that like for you?
Oh, geez, I think I was about 3.5 years old, and I don't think they make these skates anymore. It was basically two sets of blades on one sitting on one boot. It was kind
Yep.
of
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they make them anymore. Probably not. But that's how I started out. Probably that time it was kind of normal. We're talking about I was born '76, so this is probably 1980, something like that. So that's how I started. Slowly they walked me around the blue line, and I don't really remember it. It's just I was just too little. But this is what I heard from my mom from the stories that this is how I started on the two blade two blade skates basically.
Actually,
Oh my gosh,
what's
things
funny
have
is that
changed.
I've seen a pair of those before.
Have you? Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. It's just yeah. I don't
Yeah,
think they make them anymore, do
I
they?
was no, well the pair I did see were super old, but I saw them. I'm like,
That tells you how
Yeah.
old I
this is
am.
like a freaking
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say the last time I saw a pair of those was in the Hockey Hall of Fame when behind plexiglass, like the little glass that they had. It's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh man. Oh wow. So so obviously you're playing just pee wees and bantams around Czech. What really made you what made you kind of like go further and go out on a limb and really try to get out there into the to make a career out of it?
Well, I like I felt like I was always successful as a in young ages the squirts, PVs, and Bantam. Always scoring lots of goals, and the success brings more hard work. Like you get motivated more because it's just you see whatever you're working on it's working in the games. And then I started playing for the national team. I think the youngest age group we had it was 16 and under. So started playing in for the Czech Republic U16 team, and then you go U17, 18, under 20, then to the national team. You get drafted. So I got drafted by Nordiques at 94. So you kind of start realizing at 16, 17, 18, yeah, I maybe I can make something out of this, and become a pro, and that's what happened.
And what who like who's really behind? I mean, obviously you had a huge your parents had a huge influence on you. Were they really behind you, like saying, "Hey, man, you can really make something of yourself here"? They have who else had a really big influence on you, trying to maybe to continue to pursue
I mean,
a career in
it's
hockey?
besides parents, really, besides my dad, like it was just a bunch of coaches. It's hard to pinpoint one guy, but like it's every coach gives you a little bit, and like I mentioned, like when you're teenager, 16, 17, and you're successful playing, things are working out. You start thinking, okay, maybe I can, I can make something. Especially at 16, 17, 18, and that time, I didn't watch that much NHL hockey, so the main goal really was to play in the top level in Czech Republic, and then play for a national team, and see what happens. So basically, it kind of that's what happened for me. I signed a pro contract at 17, so I played the top Czech league at the age of 17. I was still a junior in high school, and then I had a pro contract. So then at 18 I was drafted by Nordiques. So things kind of progressed the right way, and 4 years later, basically when I was 22, I signed a contract with the Avs.
So yeah, that's one thing I think like even a lot of Avalanche fans don't really realize that you were drafted in 1994. A lot like you decided to stay in Czech for a really long time. Compared to other people, when they're drafted into the NHL, they normally jump right in. What was your decision to stay in Czech?
Well, I don't think it was really my decision. I don't think I was any really super high prospect. I was drafted fourth round, 87 overall. Uh, so it's different when you're a first rounder or a top 10 in a draft. These guys usually jump in the league right away. So for me, fourth round, there was not much interest in the Avs. That time actually they were still in Quebec. They were in Nordiques, right? They when I was drafted, and a couple years after, before they moved to Colorado. So there was not much interest. They had a good team, but I think what made a difference for me was '98 Olympics, when so I was the youngest guy picked for the Czech Olympic team, and we happened to won the Olympics in Nagano in Japan, where there was the first Olympics where all the NHL players were allowed to go. It was the first Olympics. At least in Czech Republic, they called it a tournament of the century for hockey, at least, because previously any pros couldn't go to the Olympics. But that year, that Olympics, NHL made a 3 weeks or 4 weeks window for the guys to go and represent their country. So we went in as a dark horse. About half of the team were NHL guys, but we had the really good players like Dominik Hasek, Jagr. So these guys were carrying the torch, but like other half of the team were guys from Europe, like myself, and a lot of them from Czech League. So and we happened to beat all the best teams. So that probably kind of propelled me to signing a contract with the Avs and making the team.
Milan, I really appreciate you touching on your experience on the international level, because I grew up in Canada and 98 was a big year for me because I was really looking forward to watching our home team with the pro players take home the gold medal, and it certainly didn't work out that way for us. You had a lot to do with that, and you had mentioned how the team that you were on had some absolute legends at the time while you were still learning and gaining that confidence of being a player that could compete with these players, and you're stepping on the ice against players like Wayne Gretzky and needing to skate along those guys. But also, I'm curious, back to the locker room comments you were making earlier, did some of that experience of being around the locker rooms both earlier and then with these pros like Yager and Hasek in the room with you, were they telling you things that gave you the confidence, like, yeah, we've got a real chance here? And were there things that were said that you remember that really made a difference for you and how you felt as a team?
Well, like I know definitely on a personal level for myself, I realized I can, before I ever stepped on a NHL ice, that it's for me it's possible to compete against the top players in the world, and we end up winning. But obviously we had a really good team and we had some star players there too. So for me that was massive. That you grow the confidence, and the confidence level from that tournament translated for me to future years. That this is the highest level the hockey is. The guys representing their countries, they have the best players, and if you can compete, it gives you a tremendous boost and confidence. So in the locker room, it was really. I didn't know really these guys much. I didn't know Hasek and Jagr, and it was very interesting to watch them, how they prepare for the games, and what they do. Obviously, they had tons of confidence because they were already NHL stars. Dominik Hasek was carrying Buffalo Sabres for a number of years, and Jagr won already a couple of cups with Pittsburgh and with Penguins, and him and Mario Lemieux, and they were carrying the team. So following these guys was definitely a tremendous boost for myself and for the rest of the team. That's for sure.
Well, Milan, I want to kind of ask you a question. I mean, you came in with Chris Drury and yourself. I mean, you guys were star-studded, just rookies at the time, coming into the Avalanche and also facing the Detroit rivalry that we had back in the day too. I mean, that kind of had to kind of intensify the situation, I'd imagine, but I just want to get your feel on that because that had to been, kind of a shaking in your boots, but also you had a veteran kind of, you know, team
Right.
behind you too. So,
Right, like definitely, like I can't speak for Chris, but like definitely, I'm sure he felt the same way. Quickly, once we made a team and we realized that games against Red Wings are no ordinary games. They were a little bit different
oh no.
than other NHL games. Obviously, we were part of the rivalry. The rivalry was still really hot.
Oh yeah.
The crazy stuff happened before us. Like the majority of the fights, the Claude Lemieux, and I think it happened. I want to say
Oh
90,
man.
Yeah,
96,
it was
90,
96,
96,
97, I
97. So
think.
my
Yeah, yeah.
first year was 98, 99. But still, so we knew what or we quickly realized what happened in the past of the series, these past series. But it was definitely different games. The atmosphere were unbelievable. Playing here at home in Denver or even Detroit. Uh, Fans were into it. People talk about these games for a long time before and after, and these we're talking about pre salary cap era. So you knew in the West that at some point you're gonna go through Red Wings, right? If you want
Yep.
to go deep in the playoffs, you had to go through it was Dallas Stars, uh, Blues. They were really good. Red Wings and us. It was
Yep.
basically top four teams in the West with probably the payrolls probably or was a little bit higher than other teams or whatever. We had championship teams. All four teams were phenomenal, and it was you had to go through Red Wings at some point. You had to go through Red Wings, or they had to go through us. So you knew it's at some point it's gonna happen even before the season started. You knew, I don't want to disregard the regular season, but you kind of knew that before the season started the Avs will make the playoffs. It was just a
Oh yeah.
matter of are we going to be between top four? What seed we going to be? It was not the question that making the playoffs or not, right? So that's it's different that these days that teams are more tight and it's sometimes it's difficult to pick teams that they're going to make the playoffs these days because it's just the parity is a little bit different than it used to be pre salary cap era.
Oh,
Awesome. Yeah,
totally,
no.
totally.
It was awesome to just even see, and I mean, for you to be a part of that. So,
Oh, it was phenomenal. Great games, great atmosphere. It was fun to be part of them. It was the atmosphere was electric in both buildings, and it was everyone got into it. Fans, everyone talked about it, and you got to beat Red Wings. But all the fans that's what or they talk about the whole year long. You got to beat the Red Wings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
always.
Of course, no, I love the Red Wings talk and beating the Red Wings always. But Milan, I want to take a step back and kind of piggyback off of what Ross said here a little bit, in terms of when you just got to here to Colorado. I heard kind of through the grapevine that learning English for you, you kind of learned that through watching Seinfeld and through Bob Hartley a little bit. Can you kind of elaborate on that for me a little bit here?
Right. I mean, obviously, I showed up the '98 training camp and made a team, but like I didn't speak any English, so it was kind of struggle, especially the first 2-3 months were not easy. After the training camp when I made the team, the Avs hired a English teacher that after practices I was taking some lessons, so I had kind of some kind of idea what coach is talking about and guys in the locker room. Uh, you know, uh, I like generally I spend a lot of time in the locker room. Like I'm slow. I undress. Right, I undress from my equipment very slow and just like to hang out. So I've become a really good friends with some trainers, and my buddy Mark Miller was the equipment guy at that time, and so I the English part, talking to the guys, locker room basically, TV, Seinfeld, stuff like that helped me a lot because that's I guess it's probably the best way or the quickest way to learn the language is you're thrown out there, and you don't use your home native language at all, and it's tough. It's tough. The first months are brutal, but once you get through it, I think it makes you stronger, and I think it helps you make learn it quicker because all you hear is English. It's either locker room,
Yeah.
TV, or whatever. So yeah,
And what about Bob Hartley? Isn't he French Canadian? How hard was that for you to kind of learn off of him that way too?
right, and yeah, and Bob had some French. So we had Bob Hartley. We had basically, Pierre Lacroix is French, right? French Canadian. Bob Hartley,
Right.
Jacques Loutier. Jacques Loutier was running the D's. Bunch of guys were French Canadian. So yeah, you had guys with some French accents also. So it was a mix of everything. Really, we had in the locker room.
Well, props. You
I
sound
gotta-
great right now.
I gotta know. What's your favorite Seinfeld episode?
That's what I was gonna say.
I know it's been so long, but my favorite character is Kramer. Love that guy.
Oh yeah. So
Uh,
I mean, you come into a Colorado Avalanche team that's been so competitive almost ever since its induction, and you come in with the likes of Chris Drury, and then eventually Alex Tanguay, along the likes of Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, and you've got these folk hero like guys, like Dave Reed. Just elaborate on just how important that was for you to work harder and even improve your game more every day with all these incredible players around you. It's got to make you feel like you got to be working harder, especially as like a new player coming into the league.
Definitely, like you try to fit in, right? And you're surrounded by great players, future Hall of Famers that time. Uh, it makes you work harder even in the practice to kind of keep up with them. I think it pushes the level of practicing the compete level. Then like you mentioned, Dave Reed, when Ray Bork came in, you see these guys like Ray came here. He was already 18-year pro with Boston. You see how he prepares for the games. Like he shows up early. The preparation work comes into the games and practices from guy that he's been around for so long, and watching Joe and Joe Saki and Peter Forsberg in the practices, and Rob Legg, and I like you name it, Claude Lemieux and Adam Denmarsh, and like we have a bunch of phenomenal players, and it's a treat to watch them in the practice and see how they do, and you realize what how they deal with certain situation on the ice. And so for a young players, it's these experience you can find it anywhere else. You have to kind of live through it and be part of it, really.
I think you might have showed those guys a thing or two too once you got on the ice, eh?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure these guys say the
little bit
same
here
things
and there.
about you say about them.
right. Forsberg showing how to get your curl on and all that.
I do kind of love too that when you're capping off your career and you're able to see your number go into the rafters there, you join an elite company, but you're all playing at the same time and you're all kind of making one line together, which I always thought was kind of neat. And I was looking up your jersey retirement ceremony, and if you could describe it in one word, it seemed like it was awesome. and you've said it's awesome, and then I watched the video, and it seems like the whole time you're just this kid being like, "Awesome, awesome, awesome," to everybody that you meet. So I'm just curious now, looking back over that and what those guys meant to you, uh, would you like to elaborate beyond the one word "awesome" and tell us what that was like for you?
Uh, phenomenal. Something like you know, growing up back in Czech Republic. There's absolutely no way you're thinking this is gonna happen. Maybe you can dream about it, but there's no way it's gonna happen. Really, what the odds are really. And if really, it finally it actually did happen. It's kind of surreal, really. And every time I come back to Pepsi Center, which what is it now? Actually, they renamed it now, right?
The ball
The
arena.
ball
Ball.
arena.
Ball
Arena.
Arena. That's right. So the Ball Arena now, it used to be Pepsi Center. Anytime I come there, it's a treat to look up to rafters and you see your jerseys amongst the great. That's
Oh, yeah.
phenomenal. And every time I look up there, uh, like you mentioned, we all played in the similar era. I wish we won more cups. That every time that comes to my mind, like it's so at least so. I mean, the team before me won '96. We won 2001. So I remember my first 4 years. We went 98, 99. So we went to conference finals, lost to Game 7. Next year we went to conference finals, lost to Game 7, twice to Dallas. Third year we won the cup. The year after we lost Game 7 to Red Wings. Like we were close to being in the
So
finals,
close.
right? We lost 3 Game 7s in the conference finals. One game away from three other times, then winning the cup, being 1 game away from the Stanley Cup finals. So I'm looking back, like almost wasted opportunities that
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
we could have 2, 3 of them, not just one.
Of
Oh
course.
yeah, well, and that even goes back to the team where you guys got Solani, Korea. You guys were just so
Right.
stacked on paper, and then
And
Korea
that
had his
that was
concussing. Yeah,
what year was it? Was
it
it
was
03 or 04? It was before the lockout, I think. Was it?
it was after
Yeah.
the Ducks went to the Stanley
Uh,
Cup Finals. That was probably 04, 05. So
No, 04, 05 was lockout. So
was it? Oh, okay, so it was after that because
no, it was
Korea
before
was
that. It was before that because we lost to 03, 04. We lost to the Minnesota Wild. We were up 3-1.
okay.
3-1 last in Game 7.
Game sevens are a thing, eh?
Andrew Brunette scored a game-winning goal. It was game 7 at home, OT. It was the last goal he scored on Patty Roy. It was Andrew Brunette.
You're right.
And,
You're right.
And Patty retired. It was then after it was lockout and Patrick retired. So yeah, and that year we had a phenomenal team. We were probably
yeah.
the team to beat, and we lost in the first round to Wild. That both goalies stood on their head, and just we couldn't get it done. And we're up 3-1. You're thinking, well, this series is over, and they came back and won a few close ones. I bet if we got through the first round, we would have a really good chance to win the whole thing. We had a phenomenal team. Phenomenal team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then to get to my next question,
I was at that
Milan.
game.
Oh, I think we all were, Cody, hopefully. But to get to my next question, how does it feel, A, to be playing 1,000 games with one franchise, and B, to be the 30th player ever to do that in the NHL at that time?
I mean, that definitely feels special to me. That's for sure. Like you mentioned, it doesn't happen too often.
No.
So only 30 guys accomplished that, right?
At the time that you did it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now it's probably, yeah. So with today's the cap era and everything, I don't think it's gonna be happening too often. Guys just change teams almost too much. I'm kind of old school. I like when you go and watch hockey games, you know what guys will be there. It doesn't change every year too much, right? Just the guys that and you watch and you want to watch them for a number of years. So that
Oh yeah.
so that kind of maybe there were some opportunities that I could go somewhere else, but always prefer to stay in Colorado. Love the ass. We love Colorado as a family. Love Colorado. It was just no reason for us to go somewhere else, and definitely, I end up playing 1,000 games for one franchise, which doesn't happen too often. So that's something I'm really, really proud of.
Well, you know what? Maybe you can talk to Yager and you can come back for a few more years and still get 1,000 games with a few franchises under his belt.
That's right. Yeah, he last year he still played for his home team.
Yeah.
He's a owner, GM. He's everything.
That's the thing. I don't think anyone can fire him if you just own top to bottom everything, right?
Right. No, there's no one who can fire him.
Has he tried to draw you over to his team?
No.
So Milan, I'm just curious. Who were some of the toughest players you ever played against, and have you ever been in a fight?
Yeah, not in the NHL. I was in the fight when I was like 18 in the Czech League. It didn't go so well for me, so I'm like, yeah, this is probably not my thing. So didn't even attempt it to do it afterwards. Really, the tough guys. Probably, like I remember like a bunch of guys asked me like who was the toughest guy to play against. Probably most scary guy was Scott Stevens with
Oh, God.
New Jersey.
He finished few careers. He was. You better be aware when he was on the ice. You better keep your head up because entering the zone and cutting across the blue line, he was coming there. And I mean, you guys you've seen probably Eric Lindros.
Or Paul Kariya.
The Paul Kariya breath back on the visor is like,
right.
I can't forget that.
I thought.
Yeah.
I remember watching that game. I thought he died.
Right
There on the ice.
Yeah, that was the end.
So there was a bunch of guys kind of scary, but like he probably with his track record, what he did to guys, you kind of better be aware that when he's on the ice, where he is at all time.
I got a quick funny thing about Scott Stevens too. I went to the same summer camp growing up as his daughter, and his daughter was in the same cabin as my sister. So at the end of the season, sorry, the end of the camp season, he comes and picks up his daughter, and I kid you not, I never knew they made human beings that wide and solid before. When
Right.
I knew him from just like having hockey cards, and when I went up and shook his hand, my hand disappeared in his hand. He was huge, and I was just like, okay, I get it. Like there's a difference, and I can completely respect that answer because that guy did not look like he was fun to meet on 6 inches higher on ice with pads on.
And he looked mean all the time. Just tough guy. I guess off the ice, he's a really nice guy. You can see him on TV now all the time, and it seems like he's a nice guy. But on the ice, different animal.
About being on the ice and being a different animal, I was actually kind of curious because you're a bilingual. You speak Czech, you speak Seinfeld English, and I was kind of wondering, right? When you're out on the ice, do you ever go ahead and chirp in a different language, or do people chirp at you maybe in Czech about someone else on your team because they know they won't understand it and they don't want to chirp you, but Chris Drury was fair game, something like that?
Like chirping in different language was more against when I play against other Czech players. Then it happened quite a bit with other guys, but not chirping in Czech to other guys. Really, no. It just just the Czech players to Czech players. Yeah, we chirp all the time. Yeah, it does happen. It's part of the game. It's fun.
I got a question about that. So who do you think who chirps the most in Czech? I mean, probably to you or anybody else in Czech.
Yanni Hejduk actually when he played. Yanni Hejduk when he played for Blue Jackets. Yanni was kind of chirping sometimes. Radim Verbata, he was actually playing for the Avs for a while too. Then we
Yep.
were always kind of chirped, and who else? There was a bunch of guys really. I remember all of them, but yeah, there was always something. Other part, one of the best chirps, funny guy was really funny guy was Rob Blake. Blakey had Rob Blake was really funny,
I can imagine that.
and he was all over the other teams all the time, and chirping from the bench, and so yeah, it's part of the game. I'm sure it's still part of the game. I guess I assume. Well, I think during when they were in the bubble, did they try to mic some guys during the games?
Yes.
They
It
had
did
like
happen,
a
right?
second. They had like a 5 second delay. So
Yeah.
I mean, hockey players aren't afraid of cursing and really, taking digs at your other guys' moms. So yeah, they had like a 5-10 second delay, so they could, try to get the most out of the national broadcast. So I think that's just kind of funny that they had to do that in the first place.
Right. But maybe it could be a future, and so it gets the fans watching the games on TV more into it. If you hear what's going on, the chirping, and in hockey, there's a lot of talking even during the play, not just chirping. You kind of try to help out your teammates, let them know you're open. Sometimes guys don't see the play; their bags are into the play, so they can see. There's a lot of talking to let them know where you are, if you want to park, you're open, not. So it could be the future of NHL broadcast, really, to get fans more into the game this way. Maybe who knows?
Just as long as they don't bring back that glowing puck, I'm for it.
That's right.
God.
I remember a glowing puck didn't last for too long, right? It was just a
Oh
little bit.
no, because they'd make a slap shot and they'd break the little microchip
That's
inside.
right.
I know you've been coaching David and Merrick almost since they were, little squirts. So do you kind of see yourself more in your father's role now with your kids, and do you find yourself like saying the same kind of thing your dad would say to you when you were growing up and playing the game?
Right. So to answer the first part of the question, so yeah, since I retired, so when I play the game, I didn't watch the hockey on TV much. So like you play the game, you spend so much time at the rink, and you watching the team video and stuff like that. So you come home, and I didn't have much desire to watch hockey on TV when I played. When I retired, now I really enjoy it, and I really watch tons of hockey, and I really enjoy it. So it's kind of shifted all of a sudden, like that part, me not playing, I kind of duplicated it watching more hockey on TV. Uh, Speaking of my kids, since I retired, like I start coaching them too. Obviously, I could be like a normal parent, be in the stands and just drive kids to practice and just watch them from the stands. But I feel like it'll be kind of wasted. So naturally, for most guys retiring and if they have kids in hockey, you just kind of get involved in coaching and you help out on the ice. So same thing happened with me, and so I got involved. Really, kind of really enjoy it. It's fun. You're not only you have your own kids, but you see how the other players, how everyone is improving, how they listen, having fun. Kind of, I think it almost makes you feel a little bit younger, and and in a way, it kind of almost replaces your playing days. Really, you're still kind of around the game, and you get that adrenaline kick in. Even during the games, you're still on the bench, but I feel like I'm playing the game, even if it's 12 and under, 13 and under, whatever the age group is. You kind of feel like you're in the game. You thinking, what do you do in that situation? Try to tell the guys, this is what I would do. This is what you should do or not do, and answer the other question. probably I say some stuff what my dad would or was telling me when I was young, and I think you kind of probably try to take from every coach you had in your career. There's some things you liked, some things you didn't like. So you try to piggyback out of every probably coach what you had in your career, and kind of coach your own way. Really, I think that's how I describe it. Really.
Nice. Well, and I'm going to kind of piggyback on to that and just like what kind of notes and anecdotes can you give our listeners? Like, since you're a coach, I mean, you can't physically see them skate, obviously, to just kind of keep that intuitiveness to the hockey and just like keep their nose to the grindstone, things that they can work on or things that you usually tell your kids or anybody else that you coach.
Right. Well, especially let's say if I would talk to younger players, definitely if you looking today's game, it's a lot about skating, right? You have to be phenomenal skater to be to be able to compete. The game became so fast that if you are a mediocre skater, probably not gonna have a long future in it doesn't have to be necessarily pro hockey or it could be college or juniors or whatever it is. Skating is probably number one thing. Obviously, you need to have a passion or heart for it. So some people have it, some don't. Sometimes I've seen it with my kids too. Like when they were little, I don't think that the passion was really that much there when they're 4, 5, 6. Uh, it didn't look like they liked it that much. I'm not saying we push them too hard. We push them a little bit, kind of, and they start liking it, and all of a sudden they're loving it. Sometimes, and I've seen with other parents, it did happen when you're like, yeah, you don't want to push your kids too much, right? You don't want to like, okay, they have to play the sport or they have to do this, but maybe a little bit, let's say if the kid is 4 or 5 years old, what is he gonna rather do? He's probably gonna rather play on the iPad and play inside games and go on the ice and skate, and which is hard, and you go down and you get hurt sometimes. It's probably not a whole lot fun for a 4 or 5 year old sometimes, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's we pushed a little bit, and then like once they turn 6, 7, all of a sudden they love the game, and now they love it since. So sometimes don't get discouraged that the kids don't like it, and don't take them away from the sport and take them somewhere else because they don't like a couple months or whatever, or half a year, whatever. There's a chance they can like it later too. Uh, but obviously, passion is a big part of hockey. You need to have it to move farther in hockey. Like I said, juniors, college, pro hockey and stuff like that. You need to have it. Skating, hockey sense, heart, passion, to get better, to be competitive. These are things that hockey players need to have.
Oh,
Of
agreed.
course, and speaking on that
I
passion
agree.
part of it, I just think that you and Peter Forsberg, Milan, were almost quiet leaders, and at one point you did become captain of the Colorado Avalanche. So, what do you think good leadership is to young hockey players today? What do you advocate in that?
Right. So yeah, I wasn't really vocal much guy in the locker room really, but so was, I would say, let's say, you my captain was Joe. Saki was for a long time, and Joe wasn't the most vocal guy in the locker room either. It doesn't have to be sometimes who is rah guy in the locker room all the time. You can lead by example, do the right things, practice well. If something needs to be said, like you say it, so it's meaningful. So it's not rah guys all the time. Usually it's not just the captain who unites the team, and then who kind of gets them ready for the games. It's a bunch of guys. It's just a kind of the leadership group. Could be 5, 6 guys. And I remember Footer, Adam Footer, like even before he became a captain, he was a guy who liked to talk a lot more than Joe or myself, or maybe
I
probably
could
even
see that.
Landy. You have different guys. You can lead different way. We're all different, different personalities, but you can achieve same goal different ways. But like when I say Footer was, he wasn't even before he was a captain. While Joe was still captain, Footer was always very loud in the locker room and let everyone know his opinion and stuff like that. So yeah, there are different ways to lead really. You try to like again like it's like coaching, same thing. Being captain, you try to pick uh, a little bit of everyone. Obviously, you have your personality that you can't really change that much, and then you try to fit it to yourself really.
Yeah, speaking of Landy, did you have any say in that when he took over captaincy from you after kind of leaving?
Yeah. Well, we had the discussion. It was kind of my last year. I think it was like 3 games out of 1,000 games. Uh, I knew I'm gonna come back, but I knew my role on the team is not gonna be what it used to be, and I think it was Greg Sherman was the GM that time, and we had some discussion before even I signed 1 more year, and we discussed it. I'm like, this is kind of awkward. Let's say I knew I'm gonna be on the probably third, maybe fourth line, whatever it's gonna be that my last year. I'm like, do you want to? We had a discussion. Let's give it to someone who's gonna have a bigger role and maybe some young guy, and then just kind of groom him into it. And that's, they Landy was young, upcoming guy. Definitely, I think he was a captain. I think he was a captain in the juniors in the OHL. I
Yeah,
think.
Kitchener.
Yeah, he was.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So that they decided to go the route. I definitely supported that decision, and Gabe became I think the youngest captain in the league that time. I don't know if it still holds or not, but that's what he.
Well, yeah, McDavid took it, but
Yeah.
I was really proud of that, and I think he's done really well, and I think if I can't speak for Gabe, but I mean to have someone, to have Milan Hejduk say, yeah, this guy deserves the captaincy. I mean, I couldn't even imagine how how elated Landy must have felt.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, he was a young guy at that time, but like everyone helped him to become become the leader he is now, and I think he's a great great guy off the ice, super competitive guy on the ice. He's a warrior, like he can do it all, right? He's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. He can do it all. He can drop the mids, play tough. He can play skill game. Be really present in front of net. That's where usually he plays on the power play there. Uh, yeah, he's a the leader of the Avs. Probably him and Mac or and a bunch of others. But he is he's probably the guy who says the most in the locker room, and probably should be that way.
Well, I got to say, it's been a lot of class in that organization in the captaincy. So I know that
Oh yeah.
it's been great. One of my most favorite memories is uh, that cup when you guys won it, and yeah, he immediately passes it to Ray Bork, and it was just like, here you go, buddy. Like this is I know what you wanted, and I just hold Sakic and the rest of that team for that perspective and respect in such high regard. And
Definitely, that was one of the the best moment of whole the Stanley Cup run. Not only with Ray. Actually, Ray. Not many people probably remember this, but Ray. He got traded from Boston. It was a year before. The first year we didn't get it done. We lost in Game 7 with Dallas, but in the conference finals next year, so Ray stay two years, and then next year, right from the get go, it was kind of you knew it's gonna be a special year. Just the regular season, we lost 16 games out of 82 in regular season, won the President's Trophy, and Ray was big part of it. It was kind of not like you want to win. You know, you just everyone personally wants to win the cup, but if you have someone like you want to almost do it for him too, obviously for
sure.
Ray, because such a great career, and you see sometimes it does happen. Great careers and guys never win the cup, right? It does, sometimes it does happen with. You have Joe Thornton, let's say, for example, or something like that.
Exactly what I was thinking of.
So Ray could become that guy, but he decided to go to Colorado, and because we had a legitimate shot to win the cup, and I think I'm not sure if we would do it without Ray, because then it gives you like it or not, it gives you extra motivation, and then seeing Ray tears in his eyes, and the whole family, actually, his wife, kids, everyone was crying because they knew what it means to him, and then Joe didn't lift the cup, gave it to him right away, so let him lift it first. It was definitely a special moment, something I will remember forever.
Just like Dave Reed said on the Mission Accomplished video, you don't want to be the guy handing the cup to Ray. You want to be the guy winning the cup with Ray.
Right.
And
exactly.
And that's like, I bet for you guys, that's just kind of like, the special sauce that goes on top of the best cheeseburger you've ever eaten in your life.
That's exactly right. It was definitely special moment, and Ray was so inspirational for us, for everyone. To it tells you, like, for myself, that time, pretty young guy, it tells you how hard it is to even get to the finals, really, and winning the whole thing. It's not easy. You have 31, pretty soon 32 teams who want to do it every year. It's not easy to even get to the finals. So even like all the phenomenal teams we had over the years, I was in the one final, really. So it's just not easy to get there.
Hardest trophy to win in sports.
That's true. Do you have any? Because I know that your guys' mantra was Mission 16 that year. Do you still have any of the memorabilia from that? Because I know that they handed it out, like hats and T-shirts to players and all of that for Ray Borix.
I have some T-shirts. So what? And we're like, so during the playoff run, so we had you have a big whiteboard in the locker room, and in the corner it was 16 games in the square, and every time we won one game, you raise it, you go down to 15, and all the way down to the cup. So same thing they were doing with T-shirts. I think we were getting T-shirts, and after every round, it was a different number there. So the countdown number. So I think I have some still somewhere in the house. So I mean, it's been a long time. It's been almost 20 years, right? So,
you got that beautiful picture of you behind you too. I see that.
What do you say?
You got that beautiful picture of you raising the cup behind you too. That I see that.
Right. Yeah.
And Milan, just speaking of house, because you mentioned it, I know you just lived in Parker with your family, and you had an amazing house with an ice rink that came with a Zamboni. My question off that is, do you have a house right now with a ice rink and a Zamboni in it? If so, can we come in and skate on it?
Sure. There's no ice right now, so it's not a full size rink, by the way. Okay, it's a smaller version, but yeah, we built it when, I don't know, probably 10 years ago, something like that, 9 years ago. So I knew, like, boys were playing hockey, so I saw it with Adam Footer. Footer had a house with the ice rink also, and I'm like, yeah, this is a good idea. Both Adam kids, obviously play hockey. They were drafted. Both will probably play NHL someday. So that was kind of inspiration for me to see it with Footer. He had the same thing. So
that's what happened.
That's so cool.
I hear you got a water slide too. I got to ask you, what gets used more, the ice rink or the water slide?
We don't have a water slide.
What?
Oh, never mind then.
Just the ice rink.
Yeah. Skating, no swimming.
Oh,
well, with Milan, with your kids off to Harvard next year, or soon. I'm not sure. Everything going on.
It's
Who
not going to be
knows?
next year.
Yeah, yeah. They got years
They're
to
still
go.
16. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when they go off to the East Coast, I don't plan on moving anytime soon. I'd be happy to make sure you get those passes for the one-timers coming your way, so you can keep going to lighting it up at the Dog Bowl every year.
Right. By the way, that was basically Dog Bowl was my first year this year. Normally we spend summers in Czech. We go there for a month and a half, 2 months every summer. But because of COVID, we didn't go this year, and it was my first Dog Bowl, and that was awesome. It was what a great experience. Even we didn't have that many fans were not allowed in the building, or not the numbers they used to. It was great. Great
Oh, we
experience.
were still hooping and hollering though.
Yeah. Every time
Right.
you guys were playing, man, we
Yeah.
were out there. We were stuck over in the corner, with our little with our microphones, just getting anybody we could. So we got to see your game, so that was fun.
I
But
know we still raised a ton of money, and I know that I helped out that with my jersey addiction too. And so it just
I-
proves that it doesn't matter. We were
No,
still
I
like, the hockey
think
community is amazing.
talking to Marty, I think that week we raised more money than last year, and there was literally no fans this year. So it's amazing. A lot of charities are probably hit hard during this COVID time, right? It's been crazy times, but Dog Nation is doing well.
well, and get onto that whole entire thing too, hey Duke, I just want to see what led you to get involved with Dog Nation, and also be kind of a higher up with them too, because I mean that in itself must be an amazing story. So I just want to kind of hear your feels on that whole thing.
Right, like so, yeah. And since I retired, I think at that time I was coaching. I got approached by Marty. I didn't know much about Dog Nation, but it was funny. Uh, this is a funny story actually. So I had no idea what Dog Nation is. Yeah, I'm getting off the ice after coaching some session, and Marty starts talking to me about Dog Nation stuff like that, and so we had a as a coach, you collect the puck. I mean, the players collect the puck. You get the puck back, and you just carry it in the locker room. And
Right.
one of our pucks were it was Dog Nation puck that time, and we're talking about this. And I had no idea how he got there. What does it really mean? And then I talking to Marty. He mentioned Dog Nation, and I pull out the puck out of the puck bag. I'm like, "You're talking about this?" He goes, "Yeah, that's us." So then I got to know Marty more, and what Dog Nation is doing, and it's definitely close to my heart. It's something, if you want to be part of some charity organization, might as well be something hockey related. Charity, which Dog Nation is doing phenomenal things. You realize how the hockey community, how tight it is, how they rally behind people that they need help. It's been a treat to be part of it, and there's a lot of people involved, but they all deserve the kudos. But Marty is the godfather.
Oh yeah.
He's the
The
dog fodder. The
dog
dog fodder. But no, I mean, it's great that you've gotten involved with such an organization as Dog Nation. Honestly, I mean, hell, Cody wouldn't be in the place that he would be right now if it wasn't for Marty and just Jan. I mean, even you contributing and everybody else. I mean, that's just an amazing thing for you to undertake, just not even hearing about it, and then all of a sudden you're just like, yeah, I'm down with it, I like where this is going.
Right. No, you know it's phenomenal to see how the Dog Nation Foundation, how it's growing, how it's gaining traction, and next step obviously will be the rink, and I think it's definitely a bright future, and it's how many people we can help in the future, and and then the Dog Nation Foundation already did help, but in the future, it's going to be more and more people, getting help, either financial, emotional, whatever it is, or it's going to be. It's great to be part of.
Oh, that's amazing to hear.
And not to brag or anything, one of the first
easy.
things Milan did with Marty was come over to this guy's house.
That's right. Yeah, we went to this guy's house and took him
This
out.
guy's house.
Took him out for dinner. Had a few beers.
Yeah. By the way, I still owe you. I owe you some cash for that. I can't believe you picked up that whole bill.
Well, either that or a bottle of Beveloka.
I was really trying to get that behind your back. By the way, too, I was really trying to get the. But my wheelchair is not as sneaky as I thought it was.
Yeah, we'll do it again. We'll have a few beers again. We'll do it again.
Oh. Well, now that you did this, you got to come sign the On the Bench with Beeks banner, bud.
Right.
So,
well,
right.
Get that and get a little Beveloka in your system too.
Oh, right. That thing is a poison.
Oh, so funny story about that. We actually had Jan Hejduk come over and be on an episode too, and prior to him, before him coming over, I bought a bottle of Bekarovka, and I presented it to him, and his face went green. He's like, no Bekarovka. So that's really funny that you pretty much say the same thing, man. That's great.
Yeah, they say in Czech that it's supposed to be healthy for you, but I'm not sure it is really. It kind of it's similar to Jägermeister really in a way, but yeah, it's poison.
Yeah, my mornings after would say the exact opposite of it being good for me. So
right.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Oh. I have a random question on just bars and drinking now. Like, did Yager ever try to get you to like go to his bar in Prague or anything like that? Did you know he even had a restaurant that smells like an ashtray?
No, but it's funny. Funny thing about Yager is like he doesn't. I don't think I ever seen him drink. Like he doesn't.
Oh wow.
He doesn't drink alcohol. Like if he does, it's just I don't think I ever seen him drink really. So he's always, maybe that's why he plays still hockey when he's 47. I don't know, right. Something like that. That's why he's probably still plays. He doesn't point.
Well, Brett Hall did recently say that he doesn't drink beer anymore because he can't skate every day, so he drinks martinis.
I'm pretty sure Yager could be a bodyguard, because that guy I'm pretty sure never takes off his lead vest either, and so that would just be at it.
Did you guys see his? I think it was on YouTube. Did you guys see how he practiced with the vest, with the
that's exactly why.
Ankle weights. He's using the pucks are the heavy pucks. So his training, and he likes to practice evenings or like at night. Like he's got the keys from the rink, and he comes there like midnight and just and skates. It's crazy, and I think he still does it.
So he's just got the keys to the rink. It's like probably part of every contract he signs. It's like, yeah, I need that too, and.
And I've got one more also, Milan. Do you have any funny locker room stories that you might be able to share with us of just funny, weird things that happened in the locker room?
Over the time, there's some pranksters that people like to get you in different ways. What I've seen over the years, you have some guys, they before practice, they step on the ice. They like to first thing you kind of know who these guys are. They take the puck and they take a slap shot right away for some reason. So, I've seen guys cut their stick. So first things he does, take a clapper, boom, ends up on his face. Stuff like that. Clear tape on the bottom of your blade. So you come on the ice, you wiped out. That's another thing.
Classic.
Hiding underwear. So you go you go home with without underwear, stuff like that. I've seen someone nail dress shoes to the ground with nail them down through the
No.
yeah. So there's people do crazy things. I'm sure they still do. So it's fun to be part, be around the guys in the locker room because there are some definitely there's always fun.
So those are really good pranks. I am curious about superstitions. Every hockey player, I think, might have something they do, eat, some sort of ritual they do before a game. What's something you did, Milan, or what is something the Avalanche did as a team for superstitions?
Well, generally, uh, let's say if let's say you know people have different how many suits you have for like each player is probably I'll say 7, 10 different suits, maybe more. If you have the winning, this suit is winning, you keep wearing it,
Yeah.
right? You don't like whatever works. You don't want to change. Uh, you know, I know Patrick Roy was pretty superstitious. He
Oh
was.
yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember, like he every time he went on the ice, I don't think he ever
He'd
stepped on
jump
any.
over the lines, right?
He never stepped on any line.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Uh,
And he had like however many wraps around the
yeah.
butt end of his stick. Like I think it was like 30 something. Like it
Yeah.
was something just ridiculous.
So yeah, we have guys doing different things. I didn't have really anything other than let's say suit or shirt, whatever you're wearing, and it works. You gotta keep wearing it. Still, stings completely, but it's still you gotta wear it till you lose a game or whatever, or it doesn't work for you anymore. So yeah, we're creatures of habits, and then something it's not broken. You don't want to change it, and if something works, yeah, you keep doing it. It's a funny game, really.
Well, and you haven't dumped out a whole pair of your sticks because I know that there's some players that'll just get rid of all their sticks and just get all new ones because they're just playing like crap, basically.
Right? People try to change their pattern of curve and whatever, and yeah, I mean, you try different things. Change your luck, whatever.
Was there
Right.
anything like that for you during your 02-03 season as the Richard Trophy winner? Were you just like, okay, I really hope this stick doesn't break. It's got 13 goals in it by now, or something like that.
Like I liked, yeah, I didn't break that many sticks, and if I had a good one, like so, especially well before like the composite sticks, you had the wood sticks, and so wood sticks were not every stick was same, right? Some were heavier, some were lighter. Then I went to wood blades. You had I think a Easton shafts, composite
Oh, the
shafts,
two piecers, yeah.
two pieces. So not every stick was same. I remember Ray Bork was Ray had a wood Sherwood sticks, and they sent him a batch of let's say 100 sticks, and he went through every single one of them, and out of that 100, he picked probably I don't know, I think 7, 8, and the rest of them they shipped back. He just like some just didn't
What?
feel right. We're talking about wood sticks. They were different, right? There was not. Now with the composites, they're all pretty much same. There's not much difference. But
That's
with wood
just
sticks,
nuts out of 100.
yeah. It just picked just a few, and rest of them shipped back to Sherwood, and hit a guy and with his track record and being who he is, he could there's absolutely no problem to do it for him. So there's different things with sticks, really. I used to curve the wood sticks, wood blades. You could curve, right?
Mhm.
You heat it up and you curve it. You can step on it, and that's I spend hours after practices working this thing, and you use a heat gun. You heat it, stick it in the door or something. Put a little bit more toe, whatever. You could work it how you want it, and then you stick it in the ice bucket and cool it down. So that was routine. Then the composite sticks came, and you didn't have to do anything. It was kind of like I kind of missed it actually. It was I kind of enjoyed to
So
work on the sticks.
Oh yeah.
So you're basically pulling the old Bobby Hull when they started doing
That's what I
that,
was
basically.
thinking. Like the
Right.
Stanley key in the door, like pulling it,
Yeah.
Right.
stuff like that. That makes me so happy. The idea that Ray Bork's on the phone is like, okay, so of the trees, which ones of them were struck by lightning? Great. Okay. Yeah, like trying to get all this.
Right.
So essentially, we were just kind of talking about essentially, how you just won the Rocket Star Trophy not too long ago. That's 50 goals, but you also had 59 game-winning goals too. What was your favorite game-winning goal?
Well, I think I had a couple OT winning goals in playoffs. I mean, any OT goals are like great. These are probably there's a game winning goal and game winning goal, right? If you can win 5-0, and the first goal is a game winning goal, so it doesn't feel the same that it is when the game is tied and you score 4 or 5 minutes left in the game or overtime. So I think I would probably say score few, bunch of actually overtime goals and some in the playoffs too. So these are probably the ones you remember or cherish the most because they're the game, really game deciding goals that where everything is on the line.
My favorite one was against the Dallas Stars when you decided to go head first and dive into the frozen ice there, which is awesome.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I was thinking afterwards. I just went absolutely bananas, and I was not thinking straight. Obviously, so happy.
You're all bananas.
And then
I just love that.
and then-
I still watch that video to this day, man. Just the swim, baby, the swim.
Oh God,
then
yes.
You end up scoring goal, then you go bananas, and then you're forever top 10 worst celebration in the history of hockey or something like that, or whatever it is.
I would say it'd be the top 10 best celebrations
Right.
of
It's
hockey.
pretty
I
epic.
mean, God, get out
It
of
depends
here.
what angle you're looking at it.
Oh yeah, your good side or your bad side.
Right.
I gotta say, top 10 best selly, one of the top 10 best sellies out there, no doubt about it.
And
Right.
I mean, has like with your kids playing nowadays, do you see them hot dogging out there every now and then, or doing the old Milan
Yeah,
Hejduk
yeah.
celebration?
Yeah,
And is it just like, oh my
Yeah.
God, or is it like
Some done it already, and I'm like, oh my god, like really? Yeah, you guys want to follow this? Yeah,
we
they do.
didn't practice this. Easy.
did you just get handed 23 in training camp and then it was your number? Or
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you just like wore 24 internationally? So I was curious, like if anyone in your family like has numbers for significance, if you took numbers for significance, or anything about your jersey numbers you want to talk about.
So my dad played with 13. I never wore 13, and with the 23, yeah, that's exactly right. I show up for the training camp. This is the number they gave me. I made a team, so I'm like, yeah, this is working. I kept 23 all my career. It was no really. I didn't pick it, but early I was not super excited about 23, but I started liking it and I love it now. So I kind of grew into it really.
And what was 24 all about? Was there someone wearing 23 on the
Yeah,
Czech
there was,
team?
I think
Or
Peter. Yeah, there was Peter Svoboda. He played. I think way over 1,000 games and played for Philadelphia Flyers. So he had 23 already. That's why I was wearing 24.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And one thing I just want to know. I mean, yeah, Rocket Richard Trophy. I mean, Stanley Cup, Olympic gold. Your number raised in the rafters. What's the number one, man? Well, what's the number one thing that you look?
What was the cherry on top?
Yeah.
I mean, like hockey's a team sport, and the top things are for me. It's the Stanley Cup, winning the gold medal, the Olympic gold medal. The personal stuff, it's great, but like you want to win with your teammates. That's the team events you cherish the most, and winning the cup and winning gold medal, Olympic gold medal. These are probably two top things for me. But overall, like you, throughout the whole career, you generate tons of good memories, a lot of good friendships with guys. It's something you once you retire, you miss. You do miss. I think like you at the end of the day, you don't miss the game as much as the fun what you had with the teammates. That's what's every and you can ask probably any other players that's generally what guys miss the most is the fun. Create tons of good memories and good really good friendships, and what do you miss the most? Being out of the game.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you guys see each other, more than your family during that whole entire 14 seasons that you played. So, I mean, those are basically your second family.
Yeah, it is exactly right. You spend so much time together that yeah, it is basically your family. And when someone get traded or stuff like that, it's just these are not fun moments really that much, because
No.
let's say you've been playing with the same guy for 5 years, uh, you know you know him from inside out really, and all of a sudden he's gone. So these are tough times when people get traded.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, it's always thin ice when people get traded, that's for sure.
Well, Milan,
But,
I gotta say, I
Like
think
2% left on my phone. I
oh,
might,
God.
yeah.
I might die. So, yeah.
Well, I gotta say, man, thank you so much for hopping on and giving us the time of day. I gotta say, I appreciate it so much. I can't speak for the boys, but I think we just had
Oh,
so much fun with you tonight, man.
oh, it was a hoop and a holler, and I enjoyed
Yeah.
myself
Yeah.
thoroughly.
It was. I
So,
feel like a little kid right now. It's just being able to like
Yeah.
remember you and Peter and a lot of other players just being at hockey camps at the Family Fun Center up in Inglewood. Just being part of that and meeting you and also being able to talk to you right now is really cool. Just wanted to say that.
Yeah. Oh, and we also got to watch you grow up in the league and play 14 seasons. So we got to, yeah, it's just, we got to see you grow as a player. And now to talk to you, I'm loving it every minute.
Thank you, Milan. It was an ultimate pleasure.
So
is
much for your
there
time. Thank you.
is there anybody you want to give a shout out to before we end this one, bud?
Thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, thank you so much, and I just want to say thank you to all our listeners out there.
For
We
sure.
can't do this
Keep
without
up the
you.
good work.
Oh, thank you,
Oh,
man.
thank you, Milan.
But yeah, big thank you to Milan Hejduk. Big thank
Bye,
you
boys.
to all our
Take care.
listeners. See you, bud.
We'll see you, Milan.
Thank you, Milan.
Thanks, Milan. Take care. Have a good night.
All right. See you around, boys.
See you, bud.
See ya.
Daniel, you want to start our shout outs?
Hey man, just want to say huge shout out to Milan once again. Obviously, to have a legend like him on the show is just incredible, and it was really nice to be able to talk to him from a perspective not only from his career success but also what he's doing in the Colorado community. So, big shout out to them. Big shout out to all of our listeners. I hope you really enjoyed this episode, and just big shout out to you guys. I haven't been around for the last few weeks while I take care of some personal matters and some health issues. So really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, we missed you, buddy. Ross, what do you got there,
Well,
bud?
a big shout out to you, Dano, because I missed your beautiful mug on the podcast and your sassy voice. But glad to see you here. And once again, to our fans, I'd have to say Dog Nation. Obviously, you brought it up. And not to forget Dan, My Beer Nation. So, yeah, give a shout out to them. And yeah, you guys once again, and friends and family for your support and listening to all of us. So
What you got, Bryce?
Big shout out to our guy Milan Hejduk, spending that time with us, answering questions. Just an awesome guy, Stanley Cup winner, big, huge personality here in Denver, Colorado area. Of course, to you guys, the podcast team, My Beer Nation, and Dog Nation, and my family and friends.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, all the love to everybody's family and friends. Obviously, thank you so much, Milan. I don't know how many times I
Yep.
could say that so many times. Huge shout out to all our listeners, all our friends, and you know, if you want to become a monthly supporter of On the Bench with Beeks to make a better podcast for you guys, please do go to anchor.fm/On the Bench with Beeks to support, and just thank you to everybody. Just big appreciation, and check back next week for a new episode. And I mean, boys, Milan Hejduk. Wow.
I'm so glad
Milan Hejduk.
that I picked that guy for my Avalanche jersey for 31. I was like, I know that dude's solid, but that guy was so much fun to talk to.
No,
Oh
really,
my God.
Hedgie came through
I
hard
know
for
you
us.
guys had maybe talked to him before through some of the other Dog Nation events that you'd been a part of or whatnot.
Oh no.
So I hadn't
No.
had the opportunity, and what a nice guy. I mean, hockey players really are just so nice.
Oh yeah.
I can't even describe how I'm so elated right now.
I feel like I
Oh,
could
really?
probably get
Like
up
I
and
can't
walk.
even describe how I feel right now.
It's like somebody touched me. You want to touch me? I just talked to Milan Hejduk.
I just
Somebody
talked to
touch me.
Milan. Hey, dude, you can touch me. Well, anyways,
Yeah.
boys, I think we can wrap this episode up. So, V Horsch.
Abiento.
Wiedersehen.
Salute.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
See ya.